Okay, so as you can see, she's all finished. Just had a flat coat, and that's taken away that shine. It's left it quite dull now, which is what we wanted. Okay, I've applied it down everywhere, to every surface. Sides, roof, running wheels underneath. It's really helped that roof just to take that shine off that roof too, and lock everything. That final flat coat too will help to lock in the rest of that weathering. Like, you've got no worries about your pigments coming off or your dry brushing coming off on your fingers or anything like that now, because it's a little bit too light. So one happy little accident. And it looks like part of that enamel thinner I was using earlier with the oils has hit that logo there where it says fish, and just eaten away a little bit of the white paint there, but I like it. I like it, it's good. So you can see the ends. This is a pretty heavily weathered wagon. I mean, it's up to you how far you want to go. You know, again, my maxim, less is more. Always come back and give it a second go. This one, to demonstrate techniques though, you know, I was probably a little bit heavy-handed on some of it. But I'm happy with the way it looks. You know, it's got the grime up the sides. It's got the recessed areas between all the boards. It's picked up all the detail with the oils, all the latches and the around the steel portions of the running gear being picked up with the dry brushing technique as well. All the corners, you know, the details being highlighted there as well. Got a little bit of gunmetal there on our buffers at the end. It's not a perfect circle, which is exactly right. We don't want it to be perfect circle. And that colour has just been dulled down a bit too, so it's a very very dark, dull metal colour rather than bright, shiny silver. Entirely up to you which way you want to go with that sort of thing. I prefer it to be duller myself. Again, these are just some simple techniques that we've put together and hopefully demonstrated for you today. These little videos. Certainly, again, not the only way to do things, but you can see with what's in front of you here, there's not a great deal of materials or products that have gone into it, and these are certainly not the only brands you can use. There's a lot of products out there. It's a lot like fishing, you know, when they say lures catch more fishermen than fish. It's pretty much the same with this hobby as well. But yeah, you'll need some isocol alcohol, any type of alcohol. It can be 70, 90, it doesn't really matter. Generic enamel thinners. Some Tamiya lacquer thinner. Just a side note on the lacquer thinner from Tamiya. For years we were always taught with Tamiya paints, you know, use the X20A thinner with those ones. It's been found out since that this lacquer thinner does a brilliant job on those as well, and you can use it on their lacquer paints. Now I actually mixed those two paints up today, the lacquer brand and their normal acrylic range as well, with that lacquer thinner, no problem at all, so they were fine. Doesn't really matter which brand you use for your dry brushing, as long as you're using the thicker portion of the paint, and we're going very lightly with that. I've used the SMS brand Flat Clear on this for the final coat. Again, there's a lot of choices out there. If you've got Tamiya product, it's handy. Nothing wrong with Tamiya products whatsoever. I don't think I've ever used as many Tamiya products until this video. Fine surface primer, we didn't use that in the video today, but that's what we coat everything before we start. Okay, we took you through pigments. That's just your chalk powders. So you can see how easy that little technique is, and you can see what it's done to that roof. We would not have got that result using paint. Okay, we would have spent a lot of time with the airbrush. Just some cheap oil paints again. They did the job perfectly for us. We didn't need to go out and buy the Abtalungs or anything like that. I know there's some special model brands out there specifically targeting, you know, the hobby market. Great, if you want to use them, knock yourself out. I don't need them for what I do. These ones here do the job perfectly for me. 3 little brushes is all I use today. You could add a smaller detail brush in there for small things if you needed to, but you can see we don't need a huge arsenal of brushes there either. And just a little mixing tray. These things are gold. Pick them up at the $2 shops for nothing. Don't have them? Use a beer bottle cap. Works just as well. I'm actually using a tile, a decent, 400 square tile here as my work surface, and I find this great. Saves my cutting mats all the time. I keep my cutting mats for cutting instead, and so easy to clean down. I can hit them with a bit of chemical on them later on, hit them with some thinners or whatever it might need. Hit them with a scourer pad even, and they come back to nothing. Light colour makes things nice and easy to see. Essential to always have good light. You're pretty much stuffed without it. But that's it. We've finished the little project. Hopefully that's been able to demonstrate some good technique for you. Easy techniques. They're all easy to do. You just got to try and get them in the right order and in the right sequence, and have a go. Honestly, This is only the second ever piece of rail stock I've weathered. Did one up yesterday, flying a bit blind, but went all right. But I really wanted to get stuck into this fish fan. It's always been a favourite of mine since I was a kid, and saw one at a hobby show a couple of years ago that was well weathered up, and just, yeah, that's it. Wanted to have one. Now done it. So easy techniques to be able to master, even if you're a beginner. Hopefully these videos have helped, and we get you there with some nice weathered stock on your layout shortly. Thanks very much for watching.